Breaking news in the stock market at this hour. The rocky fallout from President Trump's tariff negotiations continuing at this hour. The stock market responding after the president posting on social media that he's personally meeting with Japanese officials today alongside his Treasury and Commerce secretaries. And there are bigger concerns, though, about the trade war with China. Specifically, that word that China has seen a levy on its goods that might be more than 145% that the president announced last week. Fed Chair Jerome Powell addressing all of this uncertainty just moments ago. And what we saw after his remarks was a noticeable drop in the stock market. You see it there on your screen. We want to get right to White House correspondent Karen Travers, who joins me now with more on all of this. Karen, welcome in. The White House has been clarifying that some of these Chinese products that are being charged this 245% tariff are not necessarily entirely because of these new tariffs announced by the president, but because of this confluence of tariffs. Explain to us what they mean by that.
Yeah, this was a bit confusing when this first seemed to be that there was an additional massive increase in tariffs on Chinese products. But the White House clarified that they're really only talking about electric vehicles and syringes, things that already had a very high tariff to begin with that actually went back to the Biden administration. But now they're being subjected to this additional 145% tariff that the president did announce last week as part of this escalating tit for tat with China. It's also important to note, Jay, that even as the administration is engaging with countries all around the world.
Which is, we just heard from Jay Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve. We have seen the markets react to all of this. And while we look at the market reacting here, Karen, I do want to ask you a question about tariffs, because what we've seen is this rocky few days and weeks in the stock market because of this uncertainty as to where these tariffs are going. As you were talking about rising tariffs on China, but also ongoing negotiations with other countries. Where do those negotiations stand at this hour?
Jay, the president said today that he would be sitting in on a meeting that his administration was having with Japanese trade officials. This is the first known meeting that we know of where the president is directly engaging. His administration has said he wants to be personally involved in these conversations, and they have said that they feel that they are close to a trade deal with about 15 countries. Now, take all of that with a grain of salt because they're not giving any details of what those look like and how close they actually are. But to get it back to the stock market, investors are looking for some certainty. They're looking for any indication that potentially those very stiff tariffs that the president right now has put on pause might not actually go into effect at the end of the 90-day pause. Remember last week, the president told me that if he does not reach trade deals that he likes, that are acceptable to his administration, those tariffs would go back into an effect. And that is significant right now for businesses who are trying to make plans for 3 months out. So today, the president will be sitting in on this meeting today with officials from Japan. They also say they're going to be talking to South Korea in the coming days. And this could be a blueprint for how other countries could model their own negotiations and get a trade deal with this administration.
Karen Travers for us. Karen, thank you.